Hello everyone, welcome to another video on my channel. This video is the second part of the next $1 trillion ideas. So let's start and see the next disruptive ideas in this series. The smart contract network referred to decentralized blockchain-based networks that enable the creation and execution of self-executing contracts with predefined rules and conditions. These contracts are written in code and stored on the blockchain, allowing them to be publicly accessible and immutable. These networks enable parties to transact with each other without the need for intermediaries such as banks, lawyers, or notaries. The execution of these contracts is automated, and their outcomes are recorded on blockchain, ensuring transparency, security, and accuracy. And the utility of these networks is expanding and diversifying. Once dominated by simple asset transfers, activity on blockchain like Ethereum has diversified into decentralized financial services and NFT-based creation and ownership of digital goods, among other applications. Decentralized finance is a promising alternative to centralized intermediaries. Abandoning centralized intermediaries and moving to self-custody solutions, traders increasingly favor the transparency of decentralized exchanges. Since 2020, decentralized exchange trading volume as a percentage of total crypto trading volume has been rising. The ratio fell during the summer, perhaps as a speculative trading around long-tail assets limited to DEX died down after the collapse of Luna, Celsius, and Three Arrow Capital. After FTX collapsed in November, however, DEX market share shot up 52%, from 9% to 14% of total trading volume. As centralized crypto lenders failed, DeFi lending protocols functioned as designed. As insolvencies mounted across crypto lending businesses like Celsius and Voyager, decentralized lending markets like Aave continued to operate as designed. They processed deposits, withdrawals, originations, and liquidations without service interruptions. Since November 2020, Aave has processed more than $75 billion in inflows and $66 billion in outflows, all autonomously via smart contracts. During the merge in September 2022, Ethereum transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake. No longer required to pay energy-intensive miners for security, Ethereum reinforced its monetary policy and reduced new token issuance. With its new token model, Ethereum's net annual issuance has flattened and is now lower than Bitcoin's 1.7% and the 4% in Ethereum's prior proof of work model. With this sustained network, the supply of Ether will fall. Once challenged by significant congestion, Ethereum has developed a solution to scaling Layer 2 networks that is gaining meaningful traction. The number of transactions on Arbitrum and Optimism, two popular Layer 2 networks, now matches that on Ethereum's base layer, and the number of active addresses on each grew 11 and 19-fold respectively in 2022. As financial incentives to maximize reward begin to outweigh censorship resistance, flashbots and other services that censor transactions are growing as a share of new blocks. True decentralization is more difficult for new networks. On Layer 1 blockchains, the percentage of token supply allocated to insiders, founding teams, private investors, and privately controlled foundations and ecosystem funds has been increasing. Smart contracts could facilitate the origination, ownership, and management of tokenized assets for a fraction of the cost of traditional financial services. If financial assets were to migrate to blockchain infrastructure at a rate similar to adoption of early internet, and decentralized finance services charge a third of traditional financial services take rates, the smart contracts could generate $450 billion in annual fees and create $5.3 trillion in market value by 2030. Precision therapies refer to personalized approach to medicine that involves tailoring treatment to individual patients based on their unique genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors. The goal of precision therapy is to improve the effectiveness and safety of the treatments while minimizing the side effects. These therapies typically involve the use of advanced technologies such as genomics and proteomics to analyze a patient's genetic makeup, molecular profile, and other factors that may impact their response to treatment. The information is then used to identify specific biomarkers or targets that can be used to develop customized treatment plans. Unlike the last 30 years, the change in death rates associated with cancer and cardiovascular diseases during the past 5 years has not improved significantly, suggesting that existing approaches have reached diminishing returns. And emerging precision therapies modalities could become best in class, lowering death rates across many diseases, including neurological. Compared to older pharmaceuticals, innovative precision therapies have advantages that could cause significant shifts in market share. Precision therapy toolkits are broadening with techniques that target DNA, RNA, proteins, and more, giving researchers unprecedented flexibility to tackle different diseases. The central dogma describes the flow of information through biological systems. With DNA as the template, our cells transcribe RNA molecules, which translates into proteins. DNA mutations migrate through the process, sometimes producing dysfunctional proteins. Although proteins are the main cause of disease, scientists can target any molecule, DNA, RNA, or proteins, with precision therapies. And researchers can target DNA using gene editing to cure or prevent heart disease, silence RNA to control polyneuropathy, and degrade proteins to limit the growth of tumors. Gene editing, the ability to modify, insert, or delete genes, could stop diseases at its source. For some diseases, an ex vivo approach modifying a patient's cells outside the body and then transplanting them back is sufficient. More versatile, an in vivo approach modifies a patient's cells inside the body. In vivo gene editing should be more cost-effective and easier to manufacture and scale, and will expand access to the liver, eye, central nervous system, and muscles. Gene editing clinical trials could triple by the end of the 1000th decade, accelerating the first product approvals. These therapies could command the median price of $2.5 million and much more for certain indications. Indeed, a recently approved gene therapy for hemophilia B cost $3.5 million per dose. Base case forecast for gene editing revenue is $30 billion, though approvals for diseases like type 1 diabetes could scale the category to $60 billion by 2030. RNA-based medicines alter the structure, function, quantity, or localization of RNA and/or other molecules. This class of medicine can treat undruggable targets. While traditional small molecule therapies target the active binding site of a protein, only 14% of proteins have such sites. RNA-based medicines could help close this gap. During the past 20 years, the number of annual RNA patent grants has increased tenfold, and the number of RNA-based therapies in clinical pipelines has more than quintupled to 500. One TPD molecule can degrade hundreds of targeted proteins over its lifetime, whereas traditional small molecule inhibitors can target only one. As a result, TPDs have a very attractive safety profile relative to small molecules. Innovative precision therapies are undervalued, with a more attractive risk-adjusted net present value relative to large pharmaceutical companies that focus on traditional therapeutic-like small molecules. Based on this research, the total enterprise value of innovative precision therapy companies should appreciate at a 29% compound annual growth rate, from $500 billion in 2022 to $3 trillion by 2030. Electric vehicle sales continue to take share and grow each year. At a historical auto industry capital efficiency of $40,000 per unit capacity, the annualized $600 billion earmarked for EV investment would equate to 43 million units in annual production per year. If all automakers were to realize the capital efficiency associated with EVs, 600 billion would accommodate 86 million units, approaching total auto production today. Wright's law has modeled the decline in battery cost accurately and points to LFP cells as the dominant chemistry. The largest cost component of an EV is its battery, the declining cost of which will be critical to reaching a sticker price parity with gas-powered vehicles. According to Wright's law, for every cumulative doubling in the number of units produced, battery cell costs will fall 28%. Despite the recent commodity spikes and associated battery price increases, this relationship should persist over the long term. At a lower production base, lithium iron phosphate cells could accelerate the cost and price declines. We believe that an EV charging rate is a good proxy for overall performance, capturing the efficiency, range, and power capabilities of the system. In the past 4 years, charging rates have improved nearly threefold, from 40 to 15 minutes for 200 miles of range. During the next 5 years, it could drop nearly fourfold to 4 minutes. As EV charging reaches an acceptable rate, this research expects the industry to optimize for other features like autonomous driving, safety, and entertainment. And electrical vehicles has already hit price parity with gas-powered vehicles around 2022. And on the other hand, battery cost declines should continue to drive exponential growth in EV sales. By 2027, auto buyers probably will conclude that used cars or new EVs will make more economic sense than new internal combustion vehicles. If so, the drop in ICE vehicle sales could set in motion a death spiral for many incumbent automakers. In response to falling prices, consumers could delay EV purchases or purchase used cars at the expense of new internal combustion cars. Planned investment levels should support a 7-fold increase in EV production. If this research forecast for 2027 are correct, EV unit sales will scale at 50% during the next 5 years, from roughly 7.8 million units in 2022 to 60 million units in 2027. Thank you for watching the second part of this series. Please like and subscribe so you wouldn't miss the next chapter.